My next guest has lived a tumultuous life filled with alcohol, drugs, but of course, there is redemption. Thank you so much, Laura, for joining me. You grew up in a home knowing Jesus. At 10 years old, you had a supernatural interaction with Jesus.
Yes.
But at one point, you turned your back on your faith and rebelled. Tell me about that.
I turned my back on Christ, and I was a teenager where I used to just go do my own thing and leave my home and walk away from my parents and just to go drinking and doing that life when I was a teenager. Yeah.
Eventually, your parents
Yes.
sent you away to
Yeah.
Bible college, hoping that that would straighten you out. But you eventually got married, and that relationship was also quite tumultuous. A lot of alcohol. Tell us about that.
When I was 21 years old, I got married, and that only lasted for like 5 years. And I walked away from that. And now I met my husband, and from there we had our first son when I was 28 years old, and we lived like together for 17 years. There was alcohol and cocaine and gambling involved in that relationship as well. Conrad, he would go, and whenever he would get frustrated, he would leave. You know, he would leave, and then he would come back. He would leave and come back. It was always like that. And then whenever he'd be out there, I didn't know what he was doing. So then I got to the point where if I didn't I couldn't change him, may as well join him. So from there, that's when the cycle started.
Why do you think that there was so much substance abuse in your relationship?
I think the reason why was because I just wanted to be loved. You know, I'm going to start crying. I told him that one time. I just wanted him to love me. I wanted people to love me, you know, and it just brought me back to when I was 10 years old, and the love that God had shown me when I was 10. And they never gave that to me, and that's why I did everything that I wanted, that people wanted me to do. I was a people pleaser, so then I started to join him, you know, and I allowed him to do things in our lives. I allowed him because I wanted his love. So then when that didn't happen, that's when the alcohol and the drugs and cocaine came into our lives, and then from there I started to pray. You know, I started to pray, Lord, I know the love that you have, you know. I couldn't get it from any of these people in my life.
But January 13th, 2013 was a pivotal moment, a pivotal day for you. Tell us what happened.
Well, I asked Conrad, do you want to go to church? He agreed to come, and we sat right in the first row, and there was a preacher that was going, preaching there, and he kept looking our way. And he looks over at us, and then he comes up to Conrad, and then he says, I don't know who you are, man, but after tonight, your life is not going to be the same. And from there, our life just totally turned. All that week, I literally seen chains breaking when I would close my eyes to pray. Psalms 107 talks about that, about how we were kept in those chains in utter darkness. And so Christ just came in and just broke everything off. And then I thought, okay, this was on a Sunday. And then after that, I was thinking, okay, the cravings are going to start by Wednesday, Thursday, cravings are going to start. I was thinking nothing. Everything was just taken away. And it only took Christ. It was only God that can do it.
How do you feel now? Do you feel loved? Do you feel that you have to earn people's love? What is the perspective you have of God's love?
When God had come into our life, he just came in, and I couldn't stop crying at first, you know, because of feeling Him and the salvation that has come into our home. He just really has just blown me away with His love for me, and I could just literally say, I guess He just swept me off my feet.